Hello everyone and welcome to my CS24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Exclusive: The Curse of Oak Island EP Joe Lessard Talks Season 9 and the Reality of Treasure. Season 9 of History's Curse of Oak Island is back and bigger than ever, with Gary Drayton formulating specific dances for precious metals and the Laginus and Craig Tester bringing in even more experts as the testing ramps up and is more refined and targeted. This season, the treasure is already at the forefront of everyone's mind as the latest scientists analyze the latest money pit cores from drilling and found silver and gold. And yes, Gary Drayton will dance. Executive producer Joe Lessard has the best job. He gets to hang with his erstwhile treasure hunters, turned archaeological enthusiasts up in the swamp as they keep peeling back layers of evidence of human visitations and influence, one older than the next. Where will all this curse of Oak Island fun and games actually come to an end? According to Lessard, not until the treasure is found. In this season's premiere, Rick Laginus said, "Every little piece of data seems to be aligning." So will we all be Bobby-dazzled, or is this just reality TV hype? So far, the empirical data suggests the former. Last season, the seismic testing pointed to evidence of a sunken ship buried in the triangle-shaped swamp. And with the cooperation of Tom Nolan, the son of the late Fred Nolan, Team Laginus has even more fire in their bellies to keep digging up the cold Canadian muck. Today, monsters and critics spoke to Lessard at length and got the details, spoiler-free of course, to geek you up for Season 9 on history. OE Lessard. Well, the answer to the second question is always. The first question is what sets this season aside from the rest. I think that every season always leaves us with something suggesting that any of the theories about what happened on Oak Island could be true. I think what sets this season apart is that finally, empirically, that science says there is treasure on Oak Island, and these guys are equipped more than ever to find it. Joe Lessard. Well, as a producer, and especially on the series, my job is to have my crew in place and record what happens. One of the elements that Kevin Burns, my late boss and great friend and mentor, always knew about this show was that it was always going to be a great story to follow because he just believed that treasure or no treasure, Marty, Rick and Craig and the team story was going to be a fascinating odyssey. And he was absolutely correct. So as a producer, I don't so much insert my personal creative take on how we navigate this. How do we navigate that? It's really what these guys' process reveals. And we just follow it. The Nova Scotia government has taken more interest. And the audience will see what that entails as the season unfolds. But really, it's just a significant validation. These guys have proven the Oak Island mystery is as serious and as real as anyone ever imagined or hoped. Joe Lessard. Well, Kevin was Prometheus's entertainment for me. Prometheus was a derivative for Prometheus, who was a titan that gave man fire. And that's what Kevin was to storytelling. He knew how to light the fuse. He knew how to blow it up, and he knew what it took to make a great hit. And finding the balance story through Rick and Marty Laginus' point of view was his perfect brainchild that he could not have written any better. We had done a short segment on Oak Island and the very first 2-hour special with the season of Ancient Aliens that we had done. That was when we first learned of the money pit. It hadn't been on our radar before then. And Kevin was just fascinated by the story and the possibility something could be going on the island. And so curiosity led to the discovery and that the Laginus were just about to renew the treasure trove license. They had been partners with Dan Blankenship, who had been there since the 60s. It had been dormant for a while, and they were working on getting the legal permissions to start searching again right around the time that Kevin realized they were out there. So I got to accompany him to Michigan. We met with Rick, Marty, and Craig Tester, and it all slowly unfolded from there. They did not pitch themselves as a television show. So Kevin Burns had to convince them to be a part of one. And I think it's been for all of our benefit. It was just a great credit to Kevin and his intuition about good storytelling, and they weren't going to do it at first. They had no interest in being on television. Marty was a very busy businessman. Still is, along with Craig Tester. Rick did not want to be in front of the camera. He said, "Make a documentary on Oak Island. Everyone will love it. It's a great story." It's what got me hooked. And Kevin had to convince them how their point of view would be so important to people. And they were like, "Well, that's great, but we're not TV people." And in that discussion, they related to how they'd been obsessed with the Oak Island story since they were just boys. And it was always their dream to be a part of the Oak Island story somehow. And Kevin said, "Well, when I was a 10-year-old boy, my dream was somehow to be a part of the Lost in Space story. And now I control the rights to Lost in Space, and you guys control the rights to Oak Island. And this is what dreams are made of, and this is the essence of the human spirit." And that roped them, Marty, Rick, and Craig into the TV series. Joe Lessard. We don't have a say or a hand in casting so much. Now and then, as producers, it behooves us to do our research and try to help make suggestions where we can in terms of technology or expertise. But it's Rick, Marty, Craig, and the team. How Gary Drayton came into the fold occurred early in Season 2. Rick had the idea that he wanted to run a metal detector off the swamp and do so. So we had to go up there in February and film them for 12 hours a day in the freezing cold as they ran this gigantic metal detector across the frozen swamp. The company they had gotten in touch with to get the metal detector sent Gary Drayton as their representative to help operate and advise on its use. And Marty and Gary, just talking, hit it off. Marty got fascinated with Gary's pedigree and his path as a treasure hunter in his own right, and his passion for unlocking history. So when Season 4 was coming around, Marty literally had the idea that he wanted to get Gary Drayton on the team to scour that island with his detector and see what clues could be found. Joe Lessard. At this stage, yes, it was discovered last year in this supposedly natural swamp. It is a construct of some sort that doesn't seem likely to have been built in a wetland. It definitely lent some credence to the romantic theory that Fred Nolan has always had since the late 1960s that the swamp was completely man-made. And as the season unfolds, the term Stone Road will evolve somewhat as they look at it more empirically and from an archaeological point of view. But Terry DeVoe, a historian who is also the president of the New England Antiquities Research Association, is a history expert and works with archaeologists all the time. And he's done a lot of studying about the Portuguese influence in Nova Scotia. So he's seen a lot of it elsewhere in the